And now, back to the Wine Ladies. CP24 Radio 1050.
That's right. You are back to the Wine Ladies with Georgia and Susanne on CP24 Radio 1050. In studio, Gary Vaynerchuk, the wine expert, founder of Wine Library TV, and author of Crush It. He is in studio with us here this morning.
Now, we mentioned before we went to break, we want to know who that oak monster is. Gary?
So one random day, you know, when you do 5 shows a week for 30 minutes at a clip, like I do with WineLibraryTV.com, you start getting kind of silly. You start, especially when you're 5 or 6 or 7 and now 800 episodes in.
Wow.
And so one time I had a wine, it was so oaky. I mean, it felt like, there's a former wrestler named Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He used to walk around with a 2x4. I felt like he stuck his 2x4 in my mouth. There was so much wood. I felt like I ate a tree, and I was appalled. And I don't know why. I was like, this wine has the oak monster in it. I did this whole thing and it was insanity. Like, everybody emailed, when's the oak monster coming back? I want the oak monster. So it became like this whole thing that any time a wine was over oaked, I'd bring out the oak monster. It took a life of its own. And more importantly, I'm glad, because I feel like, wines were massively over oaked.
Yes.
And continue to be. And we've seen a big push in the wine world. And it's not because of me, but in general, we've seen a big push back to a little bit more balance.
Yes.
And that is a very good thing, because balance is the key to wine, life, the whole game.
Now, do you usually have a glass of wine with dinner every evening?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I do often, but I taste 30, 40 wines a day often.
So you've had enough for the
and
day.
so it's like, geez, luckily.
Give me a glass of milk.
Or root beer. I'm a huge root beer fanatic. I'm thinking about writing one of my 10-book deals called 365 Root Beers, where I'm going to try an artisan root beer every day for a year and review it as if it was a wine.
He's expanding.
Oh, well, that's definitely finding a very cool niche there, Gary.
I've got one sold.
Oh, there we go. Now, what do you mean when you say broken wine? I saw that somewhere as well. What does that mean?
I just think that some wines are just not made with any soul. They're fake. It's all marketing. They put the right kind of label on it.
Yeah.
It's got no soul. And when you don't have a soul, you're broken. And so,
that's where it comes from.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's where it comes
that
from.
was cool. I heard about that. I'm there. What does he mean by that? So I thought I'm going to ask him.
So what I'm really passionate about right now is a couple areas. Portugal.
George is leaving on Saturday to Portugal
Yes.
for a week.
Yeah.
Taste the wines from Douro and the Dow.
Dow, yeah.
Triga Nacional, Triga Roriz. I'm also massively pumped about what's going on in South Africa. Chenin Blanc is coming on strong.
Yeah.
I think Pinotage is a varietal that really draws a line in the sand. People either love it or hate it.
That's true.
The
Very
whole
true.
fried banana on top of a penny is an awkward taste for a lot of people. I like it.
So you like Pinotage?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm also really into Loire Valley red wines. So Cabernet Franc,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
like Chinon, Bourgogne.
Yeah. People don't think of the red wines necessarily when
No,
they think of the Loire.
They think of Sancerre and that's
yeah,
it.
Exactly.
Now, wait a minute. You're
Yeah.
in Canada. What do you think of Canadian wines? Give us a 1-2
So what's really
sentence on
great
that.
about that is everything I think about wine is on video, right? So I can't lie. And so it's really cool. Sometimes it's a tough answer because, I'm in a tough spot. But I've been screaming for about the last 24 months. I think the Okanagan region is going to become a world player.
Yes.
I really am desperately hoping that they recognize the opportunity and start exporting a lot more because people need to try these Rieslings and these Pinot Noirs from this region. I've had them on the show several times, different wines. They always show extremely well. I've had the wines often, and I think they can be a substantial player, especially in the U.S. market as Washington State and Oregon continue to pick up market share. It's really easy for us to say, well, just go up a little more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
exactly.
so I think the terroir and the quality is exceptional. I do think the wines are slightly overpriced. I think they're
Well,
ahead
everything's overpriced in Canada.
Maybe it's those taxes.
Okay, fair enough. But I feel
Medicare.
I feel as though they have a real potential. I think some of the other spots in Canada are further away. But I think Okanagan is extremely close to becoming a player.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we brought in a Meritage wine from Jackson Triggs,
who I love
out
these
of
guys.
the Okanagan. Oh, you know them? Okay.
Super well. We carry all their dessert wines, and we carry their Cab Merlot. blend, which maybe and and obviously Inniskillen, that whole relationship they had, we're very big fans of Jackson Triggs. They was the first producer I ever carried was Inniskillen, years ago, obviously, and then Jackson
Oh,
Triggs.
you're talking about in the store?
In the store, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was one importer, a nice lady. She was starting to do it, and I wanted to support her so much because I was so desperate to get some of the stuff from Niagara and some of the stuff from Okanagan.
Yeah.
Because the real problem is getting the wines in New Jersey, and
Yes.
so because of all the archaic. You think you got bad laws? The U.S. has got prohibition, history.
But still,
I can't ship wine to Boston from Wine Library. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
silly as that. So I know it's tough to cry to you guys with the government control.
Exactly.
But the fact of the matter is that I really do believe there's a lot of upside. And what's really fun for me is back in the day when your stuff wasn't documented, you might, everybody who's listening right now might just think that I'm being nice because I'm here. But I'm very, very, very bullish. I did a report for Wine and Spirits magazine. What are the up-and-coming regions? Okanagan, top of the list.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we also brought in, speaking of Inniskillen, a Riesling.
Yes.
That it's actually been warming up in the glass here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've been so busy yakking, but I think
drinking.
it's the 2007, the 2 vineyards from Inniskillen Winery. And actually, Gary, what do you think of these glasses? These are just brand new to Canada.
Yeah, I heard about this. This guy's awesome. He's very passionate. He says these are the greatest glasses of all time.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm excited about using them.
They're very cool. This is actually the experience line. So it's all,
they're nice.
it's very cool. You can see that it's all one piece of glass. From
Well,
here
that's a
up
good
to the
thing
bowl.
because
Yeah.
when it's 2 separate pieces of glass, it gets a little bit dangerous.
Okay, all right.
And so
Put my foot in my mouth.
So the rubber on the
Yes.
nose is wild, isn't it? Like a tire,
Oh,
which I think is
my.
kind of interesting, isn't
yes,
it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And a little bit of apple.
Petrol. Lots of slurping going on in this room.
Where's the Jets bucket? I want to know.
Jets bucket doesn't travel because if I lose it, it's over. My heart is broken. I do like the acidity in this wine, and it's quite dry on the back end, which I
Yes,
think
it
is
is.
fascinating. And it's also got a little bit of like a crushed seashell. Say that fast. Crushed seashell.
Crushed seashell, crushed seashell.
That was
You
massive.
did it. Well, she's in radio.
Pour her some more wine. Let's see how she does it in an hour. Really nice wine. Good producer.
Yes, it is a good producer. Yeah, for sure.
That's the Inniskillen.
Yeah, the
Inniskillen
Inniskillen Riesling. Yeah.
Hey, Gary, I know you got to leave in a
Yeah,
few
I'm
moments,
sorry, I
but
gotta
you know
run.
what? You need to autograph your book.
I will. I
To
will do that.
Suzanne,
I will.
one of the wine ladies.
You got it.
Kisses and hugs.
XOXO.
And I don't know what Georgia wants on her book, but we wish you all the very best success and Susanne. That's it. You got it. And it's been such a thrill to have you on the show.
Thanks so
and,
much for having me, guys.
You're a terrific.
been awesome.
You're a terrific guy too.
Well,
you're a
thanks.
nice person, and I.
Well, what do you think? I was just like some
No, but you know what?
shockingly handsome.
No, well,
brilliant
you are that,
guy.
of course.
You know,
you
is that
are
what you think?
shockingly handsome.
That goes without saying, Gary.
So,
Please.
Thank you. Well, you know what? My parents raised me really well, and I very much remember where I come from.
You know your roots.
I really
Yeah,
do.
they-
All right.
I really
Thank
do.
you so much for joining us this morning. And make sure everybody goes out and buys a copy of Crush It. All right. We'll be back. Gary has to leave, but we got a few more things we're going to talk about before the end of the show. Okay.
Okay.
Now
Thanks
go
a
away,
lot,
everybody.
Gary.
All
Thank you,
right.
guys.
Okay. Bye-bye.